In Macau, Meng hacks into the police system to mess with their surveillance footage. An officer notices some static on his screen, but it disappears quickly, so he thinks it's nothing. Suddenly an alarm goes off, alerting the police that an important bank has been broken into. They immediately send out their best team and activate an AI surveillance system called Spice. The computer checks every camera in the city and finds the car with the thieves, whose hands are strangely empty. Multiple police vehicles rush to that location, however they find the street empty. The officers in the station can still see the robber's car on the screen, and they finally realize that their computers have been hacked with fake footage, which means the thieves have already escaped. The next day, the police discover that only one vault was robbed. It belongs to a wealthy businessman who kept a notebook with half of the password to his crypto account, valued at $500 million. At Macau Tower, the thieves are taking over the offices of a digital asset management company. A few employees are beaten up and soon the staff is taken hostage. One employee is forced to open the door to the company's server, and Xiao Xin uses a computer to grant Meng access. While they download the file with the other half of the encrypted password, they notice that this company works with many important clients, including the CEO of the most important crypto asset in the country. His account has military-grade protection and is valued at 10 billion. Meng asks Xiao Xin to copy that information too, ignoring gang leader Leung when he tells them not to waste time. At that moment, the police arrive and the thieves rush to the elevator. Leung is at a cafe in the lobby, so he can walk away without suspicion, although he accidentally walks in front of a barista while she's taking a picture. When the gang comes out of the elevator, they're seen by the cops, so a chase ensues. The criminals bring down several civilians as they try to find an exit, but eventually they find the way blocked and the officers catch up to them. The teams start fighting each other with impressive skill, and in the struggle, the thieves manage to grab Captain Yao Lei hostage. The other officers can't open fire, so they have to watch the criminals escape into the elevator with their captain. Outside, Leung tells his driver to go even though the gang isn't back yet. When the elevator reaches the higher floors, Yao Lei starts fighting the thieves again, but he's just one man against four and they defeat him by handcuffing him to the railing. The thieves get off on the observation deck and Yao Lei quickly unlocks his handcuffs to go after them. However, the gang has brought parachutes, so they just jump off the tower to escape. On their way out, they push a woman who hangs on the edge at the last second, and Yao Lei has to help her. Since the elevators are hacked, Yao Lei leaves the tower by tackling a bungee jumper, and he lands safely on an emergency inflatable mattress. Another team of cops is waiting for the thieves when they land on a hotel's roof, and another fight begins. The criminals easily bring the officers down and use hidden tools in their masks to jump off the roof. They quickly change their clothes while Meng keeps on deleting all footage from security cameras so spies can't follow them. Soon the police's surveillance system is shut down completely and Yao Lei starts searching the hotel on foot. They turn on their body cameras so they can capture every person who walks by, hoping the face recognition software will catch them. Leung also makes it to the hotel in disguise and causes a bunch of distractions to keep the manager's attention away from his gang. The thieves sneak around the different rooms by constantly changing disguises that allow them to pass off as tourists or employees. Yao Lei sees Xiao Xin and recognizes the earring from the elevator fight, so he chases after him. But Xiao Xin hides by pretending to be one of the many clients in the cafeteria. Suddenly the camera detects that one of the faces passing by isn't in the system, so the cops go after the guy. Leung bumps into an officer on purpose to smudge his camera lens. Xiao Xin uses the chance to move too, and the officer team splits to go after both men. However, Xiao Xin dresses as a woman and his partner becomes an old man, allowing them to escape. In the lobby, there's a special light event and the rest of the thieves mingle in the crowd by pretending to be security. When the cops arrive, the criminals jump into the decorations pit and escape by sneaking under the platform. Later in the police station, the businessman starts yelling and breaking things because his account has been emptied. The team discusses how to proceed and Inspector Zumai says they should bring back her retired boss. Yao Lei points out that an old man won't know how to deal with AI tracking, but Zumai reminds him that Spice is useless now that it's been hacked, so they need someone who remembers how to do police work the old-fashioned way. Officers Jin Xiao and Xu Guo are sent to recruit the legendary agent Wong, whose file is filled with amazing feats. He's a special ops champion, police hand-to-hand champion, and proficient in multiple areas like firearms and intelligence gathering. His only mistake in his career was accidentally getting his partner killed. When the duo arrives at a quiet neighborhood, they're shocked to see Wong simply walking dogs. Xu Guo follows Wong to a cafe and pretends she's just a student. However, Wong sits at her table and reveals he's seen her and Jin Xiao following him all day. He even knows her name. It turns out Xu Guo is his dead best friend's daughter and they haven't seen each other since she was a kid. Wong congratulates her for inheriting her father's badge number and proceeds to list all the things the duo did wrong while following him. He's also stolen Jin Xiao's badge without him noticing. Moments later, Wong is at the station looking at all the footage the cops gathered with their body cams and whatever the hotel could find before they got hacked. After watching it for just a few minutes, Wong easily finds all the thieves because they looked at the cameras to check if they were still on. At the gang's hideout, Longsheng starts beating Zimeng up for the wasted time since it almost got them caught. When Xiao Xin tries to defend him, Longsheng hits him as well, furious because he's been caught on camera after years of living in the shadows. A fight ensues and Longsheng pulls out a knife, so all the thieves have to work together to calm Longsheng down. After putting together all the screenshots they could find of the thieves, Wong notices a man in a long coat who also appears a lot in the footage. The police receive the picture that the barista took and conclude that this man was also part of the gang. Wong remembers a wanted former agent known as the Shadow who served an elite assassination squad during the war. He quit the force in the 80s to seek wealth and vanished without a trace in 1999. He thinks this mysterious man is the Shadow returning and wants to send out a surveillance team to find him. Zumai explains they don't have a surveillance team anymore because Spice replaced it, but she'll allow him to form an emergency squad for this case. Wong is skeptical because nobody can be trained in such a short amount of time. Later in the gym, Chu Guo is trying to train but the other cops keep mocking her for being too small for a cop. Chu Guo tries to ignore them but ends up snapping and fighting them, easily bringing down an officer in front of his men. Wong sees all this and congratulates her in private, saying this has earned her their respect. In the evening, Wong drinks on the roof and remembers the death of Chu Guo's father. He promises to take good care of her in his memory. The next day, Wong announces he'll train a surveillance team and Chu Guo signs up. He teaches them how to move without giving away that they're cops and to memorize every detail no matter how insignificant it may be. On the first day on the street, the team pretends to be citizens to keep up their covers, but Wong keeps Chu Guo in the van with him because she's his hidden ace. Whenever someone makes a mistake, Wong leaves the van just to scold them. 12 days later, Zimeng is trying to plan a last mission so Longsheng can be at peace and they can all retire for good. He's found the server location of the CEO's account, but the digital vault is hard to access. A flashback reveals that all the thieves are orphans whom Longsheng would often visit to bring them money. In return, the boys help Longsheng hide when the police were after him in 1999, and they've been together since. On day 15, Chu Guo goes out to get food and on her way back to the van, she sees some women being attacked by drunk men. Wong reminds her that she's undercover and she should call the regular police, but Chu Guo ignores him and goes to confront the men. A fight ensues and she manages to land a few hits, but there are too many men to fight them alone. At that moment, Wong shows up and easily defeats all the guys in seconds while the victims run away. Afterward in the van, Wong scolds Chu Guo for almost ruining the mission. She doesn't think they're doing real work, so Wong tells her what happened to her father. They were undercover for 8 months, and a young Wong was tired of doing nothing. When he saw some criminals trying to kidnap a child, he decided to intervene and the gang almost killed him. Chu Guo's father tried to help him, so the kidnappers shot him down before running away. In tears, Wong tells Chu Guo that a police officer must always stay rational. Moments later, Wong thinks he sees Longsheng at the local market and alerts everyone. The team moves to surround the market while Wong asks Chu Guo to follow their target up close since she's the only officer whom Longsheng hasn't seen. When Longsheng almost sees 2 of the cops, they kiss to keep their faces hidden. Chu Guo pretends she's looking for something on the ground and sees Longsheng's reflection, confirming his identity. Wong keeps everyone from moving the camera or turning around, so Longsheng leads without suspicion. Afterward, the team follows him from the shadows and discovers which building he's getting into. Chu Guo decides to go inside as well and Longsheng recognizes her from the market, so he gets his knife ready. At the same time, Wong is double-checking the footage and notices that Longsheng looked at Chu Guo twice. Realizing he'll recognize her, he rushes into the building too and pretends to be her dad, scolding her while removing her earpiece. Wong chats casually with Longsheng and offers him an apple, allowing him to get a good clean shot of his face with the camera hidden in the fruit. That piece of apple is dropped in the elevator before the duo gets off. Longsheng continues to watch them, so Wong picks the lock in a random apartment and they go inside. The lady living inside freaks out and Wong has to grab her to keep her silent. Thanks to the Apple camera, the team sees that Longsheng is going to the 8th floor, so Jin Xiao rushes ahead and installs a few hidden cameras on that area. They discover that Longsheng lives in apartment 802, so now the cops can make their next move. Wong's team rents an apartment across the street to spy on Longsheng from afar and steal his trash. They find a bunch of torn Sudoku puzzles, but they're all unsolvable. Meanwhile, Longsheng spends his time popping bubble wrap. Later at the market, Wong continues to pretend to be a neighbor and Longsheng approaches him with some chit-chat while secretly scanning him for hidden devices. They talk about their fake lives and Wong says he has a gambling problem, so the calluses on his hands are from playing cards and not holding a gun. He invites Longsheng to dinner and to everyone's shock he accepts. In the evening, Wong and Chu Guo pay the lady to use her apartment. When Longsheng arrives, he scans every corner for hidden devices. During dinner, he puts his phone on the table and Chu Guo does the same so she can steal his information. Longsheng keeps asking them questions to check that their stories match, and since Wong knows details about Chu Guo's real childhood, she realizes he's always been protecting her from afar. After Longsheng leaves, he asks Zimeng to check on Wong's and Chu Guo's backgrounds. It turns out Zai Meng has had cameras on the apartment all along. The police know they're being hacked, so they've made fake profiles for the duo. Minutes later, someone knocks on the door and Wong opens it to find Zai Meng's twin brother Zai Wang. A fight ensues and Wong manages to disarm him, but Zai Wang has a second gun and opens fire. Wong hides until it's over and comes out again to continue the fight all over the apartment, destroying the furniture. Zai Meng sees the fight on the screens but isn't worried since this was always his plan. During dinner, he hacked into Chu Guo's phone and now has access to the camera inside the police station. The team across the street doesn't see the fight because Zai Meng is feeding them fake footage again. When they start getting suspicious, Chu Guo enters the place while they can still see her on the screen, so they run out to investigate. Zai Meng informs his brother that the cops are coming, so Zai Wang opens fire to force Wong to hide. Then he jumps over the balcony and window using special cables to escape. The next day, the surveillance team returns to the street while other cops search Longsheng's apartment. There's a cabinet full of bubble wrap and Wong realizes it's connected to the Sudoku puzzles to make a code. Suddenly the van is hit by a truck, which sends it rolling into the police building. The truck breaks in two and after hitting the van again to knock everyone out, a group of mercenaries comes out to attack. Several cops are killed and bombs blow up the police cars. Zumai realizes this is a distraction and tells the surveillance team to stay on the street to find Longsheng. Xu Guo wakes up and pulls Wong out of the car before grabbing a gun to join the fight, shooting down a bunch of mercenaries with great aim. Soon Wong wakes up too and works together with Xu Guo to bring the last man in the room down. Then Wong explains that the Sudoku puzzles represented Braille, which Longsheng decoded by using bubble wrap. He tells Xu Guo to contact the intelligence team so they can work on decoding the message too. The rest of the mercenaries are advancing through the station and blowing up several rooms. Meanwhile, the two members of the surveillance team find Longsheng in an abandoned orphanage. Zumai is about to give them orders when the power goes out in the police building and the whole team loses communication. Inside the orphanage, Longsheng finds some thugs and realizes that Zai Meng has set him up. However, he's still an amazing warrior and has no trouble fighting all the thugs at the same time with his knife, although he does get wounded a couple of times. In the station, Wong continues to fight the mercenaries, who are specifically after him because there's a big reward for his head. He moves from room to room, receiving plenty of blows but also bringing down several mercenaries in return. Xu Guo sneaks around until she finds a satellite phone and contacts Jin Xiao to tell him about the Braille, but she's interrupted by a mercenary attacking her. They start fighting too and after some struggle, Xu Guo wins by throwing the mercenary through a window. Thankfully backup arrives and the police force finally ends the battle. In the orphanage, Longsheng has killed all the thugs after a brutal fight. He points his knife at the camera in fury, but at that moment Zai Wang shows up and says this was his idea. As Zai Meng freaks out because his brother's presence wasn't part of the plan, Zai Wang explains that Longsheng is too dangerous to keep around and jumps on him to fight him. Both men are very good warriors and hit each other a few times before they fall through a window. Zai Wang sees that he has a knife in his stomach before Longsheng starts choking him. When Zai Wang tries to use the knife against him, Longsheng turns it around and kills his favorite son. The cops are starting to surround the orphanage, so a crying Zai Meng has no choice but to activate the explosives as originally planned. Sometime later, Zumai reveals to Wong and Xu Guo that she brought the CEO's crypto fortune to the police station server to protect it after the last mission. When they check the safe, they find it empty. It turns out that the thieves dressed up as cops and pretended to be part of the backup team, so while everyone else was rescuing the wounded men, they robbed the safe. In the orphanage, Longsheng emerges from the debris still alive and cries for Zai Wang. When the cops surround him, he surrenders and says he'll cooperate. At the station, Zumai turns on Spice again and the computer quickly finds the van with the thieves. The cops follow them to the same hotel, so the thieves split to run in different directions. Wong finds Zai Meng in the laundry room and they start fighting, so two other thieves cut in and tell Zai Meng to run while they take care of Wong. The two guys fight as a synchronized duo, so Wong has some trouble keeping up. Outside, Xu Guo notices there's a big event happening and guesses that Zai Meng will hide in the crowd, but she can't find him. In a police truck, Yao Lei gives Longsheng back his phone and tells him to call Zai Meng. Unfortunately, the criminal's devices are untraceable, so Xu Guo has to search for a man on the phone. However, Zai Meng can tell that Longsheng is buying time for him and immediately starts moving again. Xu Guo remembers Wong's lessons and finds him by noticing a man checking on the cameras. At that moment, Zai Meng remotely kills her earpiece. In the laundry room, Wong uses a tool to knock out one of the thieves and locks the other up in a washing machine. In the police truck, Longsheng drops the phone as a distraction and starts fighting the cops. He activates an officer's gas grenade and takes advantage of the chaos to bring them all down. After removing his handcuffs, Longsheng describes Zai Meng to the cops. Jin Xiao finds Xu Guo and gives her his earpiece before continuing the search. Wong jumps on a man who matches the description, but it's a civilian who Zai Meng changed clothes with. Currently, Zai Meng is entering the train station and Jin Xiao follows him since he can't contact his team. Unfortunately, Longsheng bumps into him and stabs him to stop him. Then Longsheng catches Zai Meng and stabs him multiple times before turning his own knife to finally kill him. Before dying, Zai Meng tells him the crypto password. While the police arrest the duo in the laundry room, Xu Guo finds Jin Xiao but he dies as well. Sometime later the police have no leads on Longsheng because the stolen money hasn't been moved. Wong points out he's an old-school thief, so Xu Guo realizes that Longsheng has no idea how to cash crypto. The duo goes back to do surveillance, and while Wong is out getting food, Xu Guo notices the businessman going to a hotel. She follows him and learns that Longsheng asked for money in exchange for the password. They're supposed to meet in a tea house in the afternoon. Instead of waiting for her team, Xu Guo goes to the tea house alone and Longsheng immediately recognizes her. She keeps him talking to buy time and the police surround the building. Longsheng hears them and quickly knocks Xu Guo out before trying to leave through the back door, but Wong has already blocked it. Wong confronts Longsheng, who starts killing people with his knife. The clients panic as both men start to fight and Wong gets stabbed a few times. Wong throws a boiling pot at him to slow him down and they continue to fight all over the room, using random tea house tools and destroying the furniture. They fall into the small storage area and now they have to move on their knees. After Longsheng stabs his opponent again, Wong kicks him back and makes the boxes drop on his head. As Xu Guo wakes up, the men fall through the breaking floor and land back in the main row. Longsheng is about to kill Wong but Xu Guo hits him from behind so he attacks her instead. Wong rushes to help her and in the struggle, his neck is slashed. Xu Guo tackles Longsheng to stop him and he uses the chance to run away while she checks on Wong's wound. Thankfully it's not deep enough to kill him. Then Xu Guo goes looking for Longsheng. By remembering the small details she manages to find him and sends the location to the team. Working together, they manage to block all the streets and surround Longsheng, who jumps on Xu Guo again. However, he's so weak after the fight that she easily overpowers him. Now he's arrested for good and everyone celebrates their victory. Meanwhile, it's revealed that Zai Meng and Zai Wang had a third twin who was adopted by foreign parents as a child. After hearing the password on the station security camera, he unlocks the crypto account and uses the money to put a bounty on Wong, Xu Guo, and Longsheng. Make sure to